Well, I hope that you enjoyed today's program, because this is really, we try to showcase the 150th birthday of this great poet and also our inspiration.
Tagore's relevance, even after 100 years, lies on the fact that he has a mass appeal or a universal appeal on our human emotions. It encompasses, his creations encompasses all creativity and transits into the inner self. When our inner self comes out of the transformational processes and tries to give the maximum out of us that we'll all dream about of a perfect world. That is why Tagore is so important and so relevant to us still.
It's very difficult to answer this question in a word. Basically, as Bengalis, whichever part of the globe we reside, it doesn't matter. He's so much a part and parcel of our cultural, spiritual milieu, the way we think, the ideologies that we believe in. Basically, the crux of our thoughts and beliefs and principles and philosophies and ideologies all originate from the thoughts of Tagore, because when we are in school, from there on we are told to believe in his life and works, and from there the foundation in his belief starts to originate within us. It's a part of the entire gamut of the spiritual milieu and the cultural milieu that we belong to. So we can't think of our lives without the ultimate cultural and spiritual icon of Bengal, that is Rabindranath.
Tagore's greatest contribution to the Bengali society, I think, is his fresh thoughts and ideas and his rationale. There is a fresh sense of rationality in everything that he created, and that's why it's so timeless. In every facet of life today, you can relate something to any of Tagore's creation, and that's why it is so great.
You asked me what I think about Tagore. So let me tell you. To me, Tagore is the inspiration. He is the curiosity. He is the thought, and he is an inspiration. He was a visionary man with an incredible power of observation. He took simple things around us and molded those into human love, feelings, and emotion. How many people actually have done that? His literally creations like poems and stories take us back into that very moment, to live every moment of it. The world as we know it has changed it in 150 years, but Tagore lives as bright in our heart today as he did 100 years ago.
We know Rabindranath from our childhood and how we grow up in our college and school. We used to have programs where we used to have recitations and songs from our seniors, and actually it's the very upbringing of our family where we grow up in the Rabindranath songs, his plays. And when I was in college, I was actually very impressed by one of the plays of Rabindranath, which was Char Adhyay by Shambhu Mitra, and later on I also heard the play of Rakta Karabi. Two big dramas actually that kind of influenced me in my life. Apart from my professional life, I was inspired to go to dramatics and do some searching of life. So in that way, Rabindranath's works, his novels, his poems, his plays, all his works are kind of directed towards knowing ourselves better, and also the society. That's why we think we are still searching through his works, and that's why his work is so important.
Or as we celebrate the 150th anniversary, of course everybody knows, all Bengalis knows Rabindranath Tagore. He was a great person. He was, I think he was a man meant for the whole earth and not just for Bengal. I think he was like a prophet to us. I remember when we were growing up, we used to, every year in the early summer times, we used to have the celebrations. We would put like a little idol of Rabindranath Tagore, and then, or a picture framed, Rabindranath Tagore's picture in a frame, and we would put sandal paste dots around it, and we would make little garlands of jasmine flower put around the picture. Then we would put some lights on, and then we would put some incense on, and then we would sing songs in front of him. So we still remember those nostalgia as we were growing up.
Today, it's been 151 years that he's left us. But even after so many years and so many centuries, his work is constantly evaluated and re-evaluated by the whole world. And it's so timeless and universal that his works continue to transcend cultural and geographical boundaries. It's not restricted to the philosophical understanding of Bengalis, but today his work is invited by so many people, so many researchers, so many scholars all over the world.
And then of course you wanted to ask me about why this poetry is important for as we grow up. Because poetry, the language is used in a different fashion. I think you have to experience it first and then you analyze it. So it's, I think it's, the content is used in a different fashion than the text. So I think in this day and ages when everybody's head is bombarded with all sorts of information from different sources, Facebook, Twitter and all these things. So I think what I would advise all children is maybe shut that off and then open a poetry book, read a poem, analyze it, experience it, and then you will get a good feeling about it. So I think you won't be disappointed. Just read it for pleasure and not to score any points. So I think you won't be disappointed.
Rabindranath Tagore to me is a philosopher, and his art, his poems, his songs, his paintings, his drama, all these are to me just an expression, a very artistic and very beautiful expression of his broad humanitarian philosophy, his inclusiveness. And to me, he's not just a poet, and I don't believe that to most Bengalis he's not just a poet. Of course, what he has done for Bengali language as such is tremendous. He has brought in a sort of homeliness to the language. He has smoothened the rough edges of the language, and as far as linguistics is concerned, that's a tremendous contribution. But that's not just what he is, and that is why he's not just relevant to us in Bengal. He's not just relevant to a Bengali or even an Indian. He's relevant to everybody, to humanity as such, and that's why perhaps I learned a few days ago that even in China they teach his poems and they teach his philosophy in form of poems, let me say. So he's still relevant today, and that's why we are celebrating his 150th birthday.
The Bengalis and their celebrations, their cultural heritage is so much indebted to Rabindranath Tagore. The birth celebration of Tagore is the most pivotal among them. Because you see, Tagore is so much imbibed in our thoughts and philosophies that form the essence of Bengalis. Whenever I think of him as his works as spontaneous and lucid as a flowing stream and as effortless as an infant's cry. Whenever I think of myself as a Bengali, though I reside in a different cultural context altogether, I can relate to the cultural and heritage of Bengal because I can relate to the works and to the thoughts of Rabindranath Tagore. And I probably as a Bengali and probably as a human being will always be indebted to this great man.
His name is appropriately Rabindranath, meaning the sun god. His spirit still provides the creative energy to millions of people around the world. To me, personally, he is an abstract art, which is interpreted in many ways. He lives forever because he is Ravi, the sun.